Welcome to the session 2. So myself is TV Vamsi Krishna, Associate Professor in Department of CSC, Computer Science and Engineering, Vignan Salara Institute of Technology and Sciences. Today I am going to discuss about what is an ADT, means abstract data type, and how we want to create an ADT. The next we will go for what are the different kinds of approaches to design an algorithm, nothing but preliminaries of algorithm. So the first, abstract data type, ADT. So abstract data type means an abstract data type is a logical description of how the view the data and as well as operations. One way you can say an ADT is like this, nothing but data. This is the one important entity, and another one is operations. So how operations are performed is what is the data which is declared in the same ADT. Simply it performs operations on data. So an abstract data type is a one unique entity. It represents two different things. One is data and another one is operations. So in the earlier class we already discussed about what are the operations we want to perform on data structure. So what is an example? I already told the example for ADT is stack ADT, queue ADT, graph ADT. For namesake, I am creating a stack ADT. Stack ADT. So in this semester you have a lab, that is data structures through C++ lab. Data structures through C++ lab means data structure is not a language subject, it is a one kind of simulation concept you can implement in C language or a C++ language or in a Java language, or you can implement in Python language as well. So in this semester you are simulating the data structures by using C++. So in the C++, one of the important entity is class. Class stack ADT. So I already told that ADT contains data and operations, comes into the category of stack ADT. What is the data? What is the data means initially we want to declare a stack. So here you can call it as the stack is an array. Means that the stack can be simulated by using an array, and the stack can be simulated with linked list also. In my example, by using an array I am simulating stack. So int a of 10 means it is a stack, the stack with the size 10. Stack with the size 10 means 0, 1, 2 and so on. And so on. So here insertion performed in this end, deletion also performs from this end. So the end name is called, we are called as top. The end name is called top. So here what is the other data item supposed to be declared in the stack is top. These are the two data items in the stack ADT. The next category, public. So by default access level in the stack or in the class is private. We have not mentioned any access level. By default access level in the class is private. So public. So what are the functions which we are defined here? Those operations are in the public access level. These are only can access by the user. So what are the operations? Say the first one is void push. Push is related to insert. The next one is pop. Pop is related to delete. Third one, traversal or display. So the display refers to what are the items which are already inserted in the stack. So this is called as stack ADT. This is called as stack ADT. So in the example also we are delivering the same thing. So stack ADT is full. Is full is one of the operation to check the stack is full or not. What it means of full. In the previous example, I told that the stack size is 10. Means maximum you can insert 10 elements only. Maximum you can insert 10 elements only. Whenever you want to insert 11th element into the stack, at the time useful operation returns true. Useful operation returns true. Means stack is already full. No need to insert one more item into the stack. Similarly, is empty. Is empty is nothing but it checks whether the stack is empty or not. Means it returns true. Stack is empty. It returns false. Stack is not an empty. Next, push means we want to insert an element into the stack. What is an element is X. Pop. Pop is used to delete an element from the stack. Next, peek. What is the top of the element? Top of the element is nothing but say 1, 2, 3. So right now the top points 2, 3. So the peek returns 3. What is the topmost element? Written by peek function. The next one is size. Generally the stack size is 10. But currently only 3 elements are stored in the stack. Means it returns 3 only. The size returns to 3. So a simple animation related to this one only. So this is a stack with the size is 4. First I am inserting 1. The next I am inserting 4. The next I am inserting 5. So pop is nothing but delete. So 7 is deleted top of the element. The next 5 is deleted. The next is 4 is deleted. So like that, push is related to insert operation. Pop is refers to delete operation. So in the coming to the next category, so this is the first topic, ADT. It is a very important topic. You want to create stack ADT, queue ADT, list ADT. What are the data structure we have discussed in the previous concept, classification of data structure. Each and every data structure we are simulating with an ADT only. So the next concept is preliminaries of algorithm. What are the operations which we have discussed in the stack? Each and every operation initially we have designed the quantity as an algorithm only. So what is an algorithm? Generally in C language we know the definition of algorithm is step-by-step process to solve a particular problem is called as algorithm. But here meaning is same, but a finite number of steps accomplished to specify or to complete a specific task. A finite number of steps accomplished to complete a specific task is nothing but algorithm. So here the very important term is finite sequence. What it means? Finite sequence means what? Means the algorithm should be refers to countable steps, measurable steps. Then only we can say it is a very good algorithm. Suppose say I am designing an algorithm, maximum you can create n number of steps, that is not an algorithm. Means whenever we are designing an algorithm, in that algorithm the step count should be measurable, countable. 10 steps in my algorithm, 100 steps in my algorithm, then only you can say it is a good algorithm. So these are the characteristics of an algorithm. So in the characteristics case, the first one is input. Input means 0 or more quantities externally supplied. 0 or more quantity externally supplied. Whenever we want to design an algorithm, sometimes no need to pass any input also. Say for example, I am executing one procedure or an algorithm. It gives hi, hello. What is the input for this algorithm? I am not giving hi and I am not given hello. 0 input. So that case is also allowed. Means 0th case is eligible. And always 0, no, not like that. The input quantities may be 1 or 2 or 3, like that. Any number of quantities you can give to the algorithm. The next one is output. Output means at least one output should be produced. At least one output should be produced. One output means what? Whenever we are designing an algorithm, the algorithm should be produced at least one quantity. In the previous example also, hi, hello is my output. Means minimum one output. So the next one is definiteness. Definiteness means each instruction should be clear and unambiguous. Clear and unambiguous. Here also they are mentioned that clear meaning. What it means? Clear means easy to understand without any ambiguity. Unambiguous is nothing but without any ambiguity. Sometimes in generic terms also, is it clear so far? What it means? What I explained to you, it is clearly understandable or not? Is there any confusion? Like that. So algorithm is written in the English language. What are the steps we are mentioned in the algorithm? Each and every step should be clearly understandable without any ambiguity. That is the meaning of definiteness. Finiteness is nothing but, I already told here, finite means countable steps, and another meaning here is for each and every input case, the algorithm should be respond. For each and every input case, the algorithm should be respond, should be terminated. We know one very simple example. Whenever I am designing an algorithm for calculating division of a number, say suppose I am passing the A value is 10, B value is 2, C value you can say 5. Suppose the A value is 20, B value is 3, say the C value is 6. But whenever I am passing A value is 10, B value is 0, the C value can call it as infinity. Infinity symbol is in mathematics, but in the computer, infinity cannot be processed. At the time it gives an error, runtime error. So these kind of things should be eliminated. Finiteness means should be terminated. In this case, the algorithm should not be terminated. So, and finally the last one is effectiveness. Effectiveness is nothing but each instruction should be executed with a pencil and a paper. Here the very important concept is, for executing an algorithm, no tools are available in the market. Say in case of C, we are writing a program, C compiler identifies is there any syntax mistakes in the program. But in case of an algorithm in general written in the English language, so there are no predefined tools are available in the market. So who are designed the algorithm, they are only can be analyzed and they can be understandable and there can be identify is there any mistakes in the algorithm. So that's why their responsibility is effectiveness is very important step. Each instruction should be carried out with pencil and paper. So the next thing is, what are the different kinds of approaches while designing an algorithm? So generally we are designing an algorithm for complex kind of task. What is the complex? First we want to discuss about what is nothing but a complex task. So say A value is 10, B value is 20. What are the sum of these two numbers? Say 30. This is not a complex task. Suppose I am passing a 20-digit number. 20-digit number is nothing but A is equal to 20, 10, 30, 50, 40, 60, 70, like that. A number consists of 20 digits. So whenever we are performing an addition between these two numbers, what is the result? Definitely it is a complex task. So like that, what are the problems we have? So those problems are identified as a complex problems. The complex problems, for solving the complex problems only, we are designing algorithms. We are designing algorithms. So in such a way that means whenever we are designing algorithms for the complex problems, we are following two kinds of approaches. So before going to two kinds of approaches, the key advantage of modularization. Modularization means what? We are dividing the problem into group of subproblems. Each and every subproblem is called as a module. That is called modularization. That is called modularization. Means we are dividing the problem into group of subproblems. Each and every subproblem can be solved very simply. So the process of dividing the problem into subproblems is called as modularization. What is the benefits of modularization? Means it makes the complex algorithm into simpler. Means simple problem. And next, each module can be designed independently. Means suppose a problem is there, the problem is solved by one, definitely it takes 10 days. Suppose the same problem are giving to 10 different members, definitely they are dividing the task into 10 different parts. Definitely the problem can be solved within a short amount of time. Definitely we can say less than 10 days. So that is the case. So in that dividing case, two kinds of approaches are there. In the programming paradigms, two kinds of approaches are there. One is top-down approach. Another one is bottom-up approach. In general, C follows top-down approach. C++ and Java R follows bottom-up approach. What is this approach? How can you say C follows top-down approach? Generally, here the first main program is executed in C. The main function calls subfunction, say printf, and another one calls another subfunction, say scanf. Like that, it calls some subfunctions. The subfunction, each subfunction gives some result. The result consolidated, it gives the solution to the main function. That it means the C follows top-down approach. In case of bottom-up approach, what happens is, initially we are defining subproblem. Once the subproblem is solved individually, then it is integrated to another subproblem. When this subproblem also solved, then it is integrated to another subproblem. Like that, finally it gives the solution to main problem. In general, in the object C C++ and Java, these two are called as object-oriented programming languages. Means we are creating one object calls internal member functions and it performs some operation. Similarly, some other object calls their operation, it performs some result. Sometimes these two also interdependable. So that's why the C++ follows top-down approaches. So what are the benefits of top-down approaches and what are the benefits of bottom-up approach? So in the top-down approach, we know that in the top-down approach, start by dividing the complex algorithm into one or more modules. Means we are dividing the problem into simple problems. The next one is the modules are individually designed and each and every support module process of decomposition. So each and every subproblem can be solved individually. In this way we are decreasing some complexity. And next last one, top-down design method is a stepwise method, means that each and every time we are calling one function. Once the task performed by the particular function finished, then only the next module or next function is called. Means at a time we are calling one function only executed. That is the case of top-down approach. The next thing is bottom-up approach. In the bottom-up approach, different objects are communicated at a time. Different objects are communicated at a time. So in the bottom-up approach, simply reverse to the top-down approach. Means top-down means here, bottom-up means here, like the reverse fashion. But in the bottom-up design, we are designing the most of the basic concrete modules in the starting itself. And the next thing is higher level modules are implemented by using operations performed in the lower level modules. Means that previously I interacted with you, that is stack ADT. In the stack ADT I defined push operation, pop operation, some display operation kind of thing. Those three are called as lower level modules. And in the higher one by one, say push one time, push two time, push third time. After that I am calling pop first time, I am calling display, I am calling pop second time, display. Like that we are designed higher level modules interacted with lower level modules. The next thing is this approach, submodules are grouped together, means some kinds of ADTs are interacted with each other. Say we can say stack ADT array. Array is also a data structure. Stack is implemented with an array. So this is a one kind of design, that is a one kind of design. So that submodules are grouped together and higher level modules are to be designed. And last thing is process is repetitively, means we are created one object, with that object we are calling some lower level modules in the particular class. By using another object we are calling some other lower level modules in the particular class. Finally these two are interacted with each other, it gives the solution to the main problem. That kind of things also we are designed in bottom-up approach. The next, what are the control structures are designed to declare an algorithms? So the control structures are called as, generally by designing an algorithms we are classifying into three different categories. One is sequence, another one is decision, and another one is repetition. Sequence algorithms are nothing but simply we are taking an input and we are performing some operation and we are displaying some result. This kind of things are called as sequence algorithms. In case of decision algorithms, if we are putting some condition, based on the condition, the corresponding statement should be executed or not. Say for example here, x equal to y. If x value, y value both are equal, then only it prints the statement is executed. Print equal. Suppose this condition is failed, the statement is not executed. These kind of things are called as decision algorithms. Means all the steps are not should be respond for every input case. The next one is repetitive kind of thing. This is another kind of if-else statement. Here, what is the difference is, if condition is true, some part of the statements are respond. Suppose the condition is false, some part of the statements are respond. This is another kind of decision statement. And finally, the last one is repetitive statements. Repetitive statements is nothing but, here this statement is executed certain number of times. The certain defined by condition. Say for example here, 1 less than or equal to 5, n is equal to 5, I value is 1. Definitely the statement is executed 5 times. How? Say 1 less than or equal to 5 is 2, 2 less than or equal to 5 is true, 3 less than or equal to 5 is true, 4 less than or equal to 5 is true, 5 less than or equal to 5 is also true. Means that for 5 different values of I, the loop is executed. This kind of things are called as repetitive algorithms. In the repetitive algorithms, we have used while, do while, and for loops. So, in the summary concept, first we have discussed about ADT. In this session, we have discussed about ADT, nothing but abstract data type. There, I am given an example for stack ADT. And we have simulated some operations also with the animation. The second kind of thing is preliminaries of algorithm. Means I am given the definition for algorithm. After that, what are the characteristics of algorithm? Finally, here, what are the different kinds of approaches to design an algorithm? Approaches to design an algorithm. That is called here top-down approach, and another one is bottom-up approach. Top-down approach, bottom-up approach. And control structures, or we can say one-way types of algorithms. Here we know what are the sequence algorithms, what are the decision kind of things algorithms, decision kind of thing algorithms. Third one is repetition kind of algorithms. So in this session, we have covered two topics mainly. One is ADT and another one is preliminaries of algorithm. Thank you.